The Panasonic S5, 1, has arguably the best log profile. 2, it has outstanding out-of-camera picture quality. 3, shutter angle means no more weird looking footage if you forget to change your shutter speed when switching frame rates. 4, lens focus resume, or in plain terms, your manual focus point will be remembered even when you power down your camera. 5, IBIS, or in-body stabilization, is stellar to the point that when I'm doing stuff in the studio, I don't use a gimbal for any YouTube shots. So Panasonic has Vlog. Vlog is a log profile that's extremely easy to work with. I recommend that people, when they're using Vlog, use a base LUT and then make their adjustments from there. But you have a lot of dynamic range capability, and when I recommend people use that is when they know their scene has a lot of dynamic range. So here in the studio, it's extremely dark. I don't really need to use Vlog. So in this scenario, I'll use some of the other profiles that are outstanding as well. And they're what we call out of camera, ready to use. I could use the natural profile. Right now I'm using the Cinelike V2 profile. And I use that quite a bit for talking head type videos, and also when I'm doing product shots if I have to do it real quickly. Now, if I'm incorporating footage from outdoors, I'll probably shoot everything in Vlog, because typically when I shoot, there's going to be a lot of dynamic range there. Shutter angle. If we think about this concept, you have a spinning disc, right? And then you have your sensor. Shutter angle comes back from the old film days. What it means is if you have a 180 degrees shutter, you would have half of that semicircle that's going through the sensor exposed, and it just means that half of the time you'll be exposed. So whether you slow down the frame rate or what have you, you still have that half relationship. Whereas with shutter speed, you have to go in and you have to calculate. So if I'm doing 24 frames per second, I would want a shutter speed of 1/50th. If I'm doing 30 frames per second, 1/60th. So when you switch back and forth, it's easy to forget that and do something different than what you had intended. Now, one of the things that I do for my studio is this, and the reason why I went with the Panasonic S5 series is I wanted the full frame look, and I also didn't want to pay the full frame prices, so to speak. So you can get these used, and also if you get a lens deal, they're on sale quite a bit where the actual camera is only $1,000. And I don't have a lot of room in the studio. So if you see some of the lighting, it has some background blur that I wasn't able to achieve with APS-C or Micro Four Thirds. And I always caution people, because for me, it was real easy transition to the Panasonic series, even though they have really good autofocus now. This one uses the older autofocus. So when I started doing videos, I heard stuff about some of the cameras that I had. The Canon M50 has excellent autofocus. It does in 1080p. So when you want to go to 4K, it's contrast based and it's horrible. So I also heard about the Sony a6400. Oh, you have to get that autofocus. It's the best in the industry. It's great in 1080p. It's great in 4K if you have an external recorder. It's great if you're streaming and you turn off record mode. So what was happening with the a6400, loved that camera, but it was kind of disrupting my workflow, because I'm like, I already spent a lot of money for this camera, and now I need an external recorder to get recordings that have eye autofocus. So I decided to kind of leave at that point and look for a different solution. And I've been nothing but happy with the Panasonic S5. I've been kind of interspersing some footage throughout this video, and it's all shot on the S5. And again, I could not be happier with this result. So this doesn't mean I'm not one of those people that says, hey, Panasonic is the only thing that you need to buy. There's a lot of great things about the Panasonic, but there are great things about a lot of things. But in my workflow, this works out the best. So basically right now I have this talking head, I have the top down on my Panasonic, I have a Panasonic that I use for bRoll, and I'm adding a second angle over here, and that's because I was able to get 2 S5s for $1,000. So I just could not walk away from that deal. I know I kind of jumped right into it, didn't really do an intro, but I'm really happy with what I'm getting out of this Panasonic. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. And with that, we're out.